What up, guys? This is my Toasty breakdown video for 120%. Use this video if you are a baby who wants easy but fast strats and just an easy world record. Let's get into it. So one thing about this level is that there's a strat where there's a lot of dog death abuses here. So we're going to get into that. You have to do a little jump back right there to get those gems. And with that guy right there, I'm going to stop for a second, just move back. So with this first movement of the level, get back there, you bitch. Come on, motherfucker. So with this first movement of the level, when you initially fly in, the second you touch the ground, which is right about there, that's when you want to just do a quick X input. Take a look at the input. There you go. Quick X input. Short hop to get back there, all right? Keep in mind that a full hop is fine, but this is one of those cases where you'd want a short hop. As we do the gems here. Now, this angle of hitting the flame on these two guys, the harder that you push this angle, then the more that the shepherd is going to body block you. So it's better that you take it a little wide and a little safe, so that way you can get both of their gems comfortably. You can see how the shepherd can kind of get in the way there. Now, right here, let's watch this. Okay, let's pause. So that strat right there, I invented because I'm a fucking badass with a huge cock. The thing about it is it's not as bad as it might seem when you first look at it. It works on a similar principle to credit skip, where if you look at the joystick on the bottom left there, do a full hop, charge glide, but then we do the bottom right strat. And the reason why I do bottom right on the joystick at this part instead of right is because that pulls Spyro back just enough to be able to hit the shepherd and push him off to the right so that he doesn't body block the dog. If you don't do that, and you can see I just barely got him out of the way. If I hadn't have done that down right strat, he would have killed the dog, or he would have gotten in the way of the dog, just like with the other shepherd. So you have to be really mindful of that as you go through these sections. Now, right there with that dog, you can actually do a strat where you drop down, and see how I'm flaming as I drop down? You could actually wait with the flame and have him auto-lock you, or whatever it is, like have him aggro you and flame him out of the air. It's arguably a time save. In practice, you have to kind of readjust for this little section right here. So let's pull it back a little bit. I find that the movement just feels more consistent and the flow of it is smoother when you do the drop down flame, but you could also opt for that strat, which we'll see on another dog later. Nice comfy flame charge into both of those guys. It'd be nice to be able to charge out of the air there. So make sure you get a nice full hop. So with these, I'm going to bring it back again here. So with these guys right here, with these guys right here, you could actually opt to go to the right and then to the left and get those two boxes. That's another route that you could do for this level. I'm pretty sure Saboom does that route. So if you want to check out his 120% gold, the 120% gold PB community bests playlist that Flazuki has, I'll be linking that down below if you want to see an alternate route. You may find it easier. It's basically the same time difference either way. It's just a matter of preference. What the route I do here is the old route where you go left to right with these dogs. You could also do more of the dog suicide tricks on them, but I'm waiting to do it on the last dog before the first phase. But this is a nice, easy, consistent way of hitting them. Something to keep in mind with these dogs is that if you hit them on the second flame too early, I'm going to pause real quick. If you hit the dogs on the second flame too early, they'll still have invulnerability from the hit stun of the first flame. So make sure you're not flaming too optimally. This is one of the few sections in the game where if you're too optimal with your flaming, the dogs will just ignore the second flame. So be careful about that. Now, right here around the corner, there's going to be a dog. In fact, I'll just slow-mo this. There's a dog right here, and we want to get him to jump off the edge. So I'm jumping at a very specific spot here because I don't want to jump too close to him. Otherwise, he'll jump he'll land on the ledge that he's sitting on. I want to get just around him enough so that he jumps into the lava, but not too much, not too little. You have to kind of work it out on your own. But this is a good spot right here to jump from. Any closer to him, then he's probably gonna miss the lava. Let's watch this section in full. Now look at that. Now I love that little part right there. That's something called a flame disassociation. And what's cool about that is look at the inputs here after I kill this guy. So we jump into the air to grab the green, and now look at the inputs: circle, square, X. And what happens there is if you look at the flame at this point, the flame is completely disassociated from Spyro. The flame, what we see visually, is the same thing as what was occurring from the initial flame when the camera was here. So because of like the way the camera works in this game, it's still trying to the camera is still like turning the flame while Spyro is not turning. So visually, it looks like the flame is not hitting the dog at all. But what's happening is the hitbox is still comfortably in front of Spyro where it should be. So that's called a flame disassociation, a quick circle, square, X input out of the air. Okay. Drop down, kill this guy. That's another dog that you could opt to do the single flame suicide on, which you'll now see on this next dog that I'm doing right here. Okay, so quick pause. So this is a really cool strat that Farnia found earlier in 2020. It's basically what happens, and we're not 100% sure why this works, but what you want to do is get the dog to aggro you, which isn't always super consistent. That's why you have to be very choosy about what dogs you want to do this on, because every dog you have to approach at a different angle, and thus they'll aggro you differently. So you have to try to find a consistent way to get the dogs to aggro you. Then when he jumps, you want to flame him right at the top of his jump. You see, I get right underneath him, and because Spyro's flame travels upward, I'll hit him from underneath right here. Right. And so I got him, I did a little, that first damage I did on him while he was at the top of his jump. And now, because the dog jumps a second time, you can see him kind of jumping as he goes off screen. Because he jumps a second time, he goes, I guess, something like out of bounds for his own hitbox, and he ends up just dying. And interestingly, the gem homes in on us. So you'll see the green right there homing in on us. So let's go back and watch that in full one more time. Cool strat. And again, you could do that to any dog in this level. And I definitely encourage anyone learning this level to experiment with some of the other dogs and see if they want to incorporate some of the other ones. I mentioned a few of the ones that are worth going for earlier. Right there, I do a double kill. If you go fast enough, you don't have to do this double kill. I just find it a consistent setup. But what I do is when I kill those two dogs right there, I wait. And then when I see him coming in from around the screen right there, I just go ahead and flame this first dog. Jump, and then so that way I can glide around, so that way the flame doesn't get body blocked by the dog. That's just something you have to be careful of, because you'll notice that the sheep is perfectly behind the dog here, and when you flame an enemy and you're trying to flame something behind an enemy, Spyro's flames can get blocked by the first enemy. We call that getting body blocked, and so you don't want that to happen here. You can see I do a very clear jump and then kind of flame charge around left to right in order to hit him there. And really that sheep becomes vulnerable. This whole walk up that he does, he's invulnerable until about this point right here. And then that's when the sheep is vulnerable. I kind of hit him a little later, but you know, just for safety. But yeah, around here, right there is like where you want to hit him. That's like that's the first frame I would say that he's vulnerable. Arguably maybe this one as well. Yeah, so let's go back and let's just watch it. So we see the dogs die. Come around. Nice. Beautiful. And I like to roll into that right there and just clean it up and get out of there. It's actually kind of awkward to do that movement right there. Ooh, whoa. It's kind of awkward to do that movement right there. But what I like to do for consistency is get these two gems that come out of the fountain. There's 3 gems that come out of the fountain of the sheep guy, whatever his name, Toasty. What's his name again? There's 3 gems that come out of him, and usually you'll miss one of the gems from the home in. I like to do a roll in. In fact, generally speaking, I recommend going for roll ins on parts where you have to wait for a gem fountain. It's a really consistent way of getting into the fountain area as quickly as possible, the gem fountain area, I should say. But you'll always miss that one gem right there. So I like to grab that one out of the air so I can set up my angle. I could already be set up with an angle that I like for these 2 boxes. Now, if you want to be ballsy, what you could do is you could try to hit the first one, charge the first one, flame charge the second one, so you could get a slightly quicker jump into the return home portal. Or from right here where I'm standing right here, you could go for a double flame charge, which is super risky because most of the time you'll get the first box, but you'll miss the second one. And if you're trying to go too quick, you'll just miss the gem and jump into the return home portal. So rather than deal with any of that nonsense, I just charge them both. Like, oh, boohoo, you lose like a frame or two. You know, it's worth it for consistency. So that's pretty much my whole like breakdown of my route for Toasty. It's not like the most perfectly optimal route. You could definitely incorporate more single flame dog death abuse on this level, but I think the route that I use is probably the most consistent and fast route. It's got the best balance of both, at least for me. So I hope that you guys can explore this level a little bit on your own and try to figure out your own little doggy strats and little getting them to jump into lava. And yeah. Oh yeah, and subscribe, like, suck my dick, and watch my Twitch channel because I'm finna get world record. I'm gonna be the best Spiral player ever, and so can you.